Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and it's the day before TGIF. It's Thursday, and let's get the chat line up there. And obviously, the Fed said interesting things. Said interesting things, but the question really comes down to is, will they do those interesting things? In other words, we heard Mrs. Yellen go on for 7 years, 7 years as Fed chair. Or 6 years, I guess, 6 or 7 years. I think. Let's see, Bernanke for 2 or 3, and then he was replaced by Mr. Obama, and then like another 5 by or 4 with Mrs. Yellen, and they would talk about how they're going to, it was 2008, and then it was 2009, and they were going to, it was going to be 2 years, and quantitative easing was just going to be, it was going to slowly be adjusted so that we would see it raised. In other words, they would raise the interest rates again from zero and somewhat minus here in the States. And, we had our treasury bills and so forth trading at the minus for a little while. And, people were like trying to make it very clear to the to anybody that would listen that it was a bad idea, And so it stopped here in the States, but it's still going on after 13 years in Europe. Matter of fact, yesterday I think it was Greece. Their 10 years went minus something crazy like that. So, Mr. I guess who's there now? Powell. Mr. Powell, basically said that he was starting to think that maybe we need to talk about, you know, adding interest to products, and then somewhere along the line he tells us that that inflation is now projected at 3.6, not 2%. So it's almost doubling. Hey, 47, how you doing? Can we look at the DAX? Sure, let's look at the DAX. Let's see what's going on with the DAX. I think we got to do that with an ETF. Actually, I think I tried to put it in there, but it's delayed. I don't like trying to show you delayed stuff. So let's see. Let's go over to the stock combo, and we'll look at the DAX. I might be able to screen share it into another machine around here somewhere that has the DAX on a live. I'll have to double check that. Let's see, they've been offering lower rates to trade the DAX future, the micro DAX. So it might be there. But let's just, let me see, what kind of, what, let's do this. Let's minimize that. I'm going to open up the stock side where we have the ETF. And then from there, I'm going to see if I can tie into the futures contract. We'll see how that goes. Let's see, where should we do that from? Maybe we should do it from, let's do it from here, where I keep the short terms. Like yesterday when we were looking at that one, the 39-second SPY, You can see there, that's moving live. Let's see if we can find the DAX in there. DAX. There it is. Let's see how that goes. It may not be as liquid, but let's see what happens. Hey, Alan, how you doing? Yeah, you can see it's moving down. What is it? That's a 39-second, right? So if we go like this, maybe we make it like a 1 minute for 2 days. It'll give us a decent looking chart. Again, I'm not really big on seconds, but it does fill in pretty quickly. Let's see what this does. Wow, that's that's pretty bad. Not much action in that poor thing, is there? I guess if we put it in there as like 3 seconds or something like that. Let's see. Let's make it. How about every 3 seconds? Let's see what that does. See if we can get. There's not much action. The only thing I guess you can say is that if we go to a daily. Okay, here we go. You can see here it is down. And obviously everything is down. So you see what I'm saying there, 47? They're all down. Let's put a daily in there instead of. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't ask for an intraday, did you? You wanted to see a regular. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't ask me why. I thought you were thinking about an intraday. Let's go to Where do we go from? We'll minimize that again, and we'll go to there, and then let's see. Let's put it in the which one shall we put it in? The diamonds. Let's put it in there. Let's see what the DAX looks like. They're both a D, so that's pretty cool. DAX. Bingo. And there we go. And DAX on the weekly. There we are. Alright, there you go. You can see here, that's 15th, that's the 16th. Why aren't we seeing some live trading here? Let's see. Maybe I have to adjust the setting. Let's see. I have it set on pre-market. Let's try one more thing. Post and pre. Let's see if it'll do it on that. And so that's yesterday. It closed in a daily sell yesterday. And I believe it's down today, but we're not seeing, let's see, that says at 34.75. Let me go to the other chart that was intraday. Right there? Yeah, let's try that. And then there, it's the same thing. That's yesterday. It's not giving us anything today yet. But I imagine it's down. Yeah, that's intraday. It's not very liquid. You can see that right there. It's not very liquid at all. I see Alan says, I saw taper, then I've seen bad job numbers. The market is a zoo on the loose. Any short trader is making money. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You know, basically, you know, it's going to be fun. You know, again, the big question, which flipped me out right off the opening yesterday on the webinar was, again, they asked that question. You know, like, why is the 10-year unchanged? You know, something like that. Why is the 10-year unchanged? It's like they don't understand. You know, I mean, they want these money managers to just say it out loud. You know, the Federal Reserve is holding it up. They want them to just say that. They refuse. They go, yeah, we're perplexed too. Can you imagine how scary they all are? Hey, 33, how you doing? Sure, let's see copper, because it looks like it closed in a daily buy last night. At first, I didn't think it did, but check this out. Let's see, which one's this? Let's minimize. First, let's put that back into that combination like so. Then we'll minimize that, and then we go over to copper right here. Where is it at? Copper, right there. Oh, it's up there, yeah. Yeah, so it closed yesterday in the daily buy. And today, it's not helping it any. Look at that. It's down, what, 8 cents, 10 cents? I don't know. See, it closed at what? It closed at 438.50. And it's trading at 438. It's down 10 cents, yeah. It's down 10 cents. We're in the weekly sell, so you can't take the long. But I thought that might mean strength is coming in, you know, right here. But obviously not. That's the copper right there. That's interesting. Went into the sell there. It was a nice winner chicken dinner. Then they give you that, like, okay, take your profit. And the next day, it's another gap down again. And we'll have to see how this reacts. Let's give it a refresh. Let's see, where are you? I have to push the button. Let me push the button. There it is. Okay. Let's give it a refresh. Yeah, that's interesting stuff. Open down. China is supposedly saying something about selling off a lot of their inventory. That's what I heard last. China's talking about selling aluminum and copper, and I forget what other else they were talking about, but they're going to start reducing some of their stockpile. I guess they finally are starting to see the writing on the wall. That writing says, clean up your act or you'll be using horse and buggy again. I think that's what it comes down to. See, Alan says, Doc, can quant show oversold intraday, for example, AUD, JPY? Yeah, I have a couple clients that follow that. Let's go there. Let me open it up on the page that we send it out to. Let me do this to cancel. Let's close this down like so. And then let's go over to here and open it up. And here is, where is it at? It's right there. There we go. Now, you said you want to see intraday. Okay, we'll go to intraday and take a look at that. There's the daily. It's been in a sell for just 2 days here. In a weekly sell for a whole week, so you couldn't be long throughout this bunch of days there, you know. Let's go over and copy this. No, I don't need to copy it. I just need to send it to the intraday to see. Where was it? Intraday, that's is here. There we are. And then let me just double check to see if we have it in there. No, we don't. So let's open that up. Insert. Instrument. Cache. What's that? That is AUD. JPY. This should be interesting. What do we have it set on? 3 seconds? This could be very interesting. I can't wait to see what this looks like. And at the same time, oh yeah, look at that. That's the 3 seconds, you know. But let's we'll adjust that. Let it fill in. We can do this too. Settings. Okay. Oh, there it is. So there's the intraday, just in a 3-second mode. So it gets into the buy here, right there. Doesn't get in the sell on Y traders. This does not go into a sell even with it below the 0 line because we have a green dot. That's why right there. So you're still long, and then it gives you the nice little win. What is that? It's only like about what 4 pips or something like that. And I guess if we go to the classic Tesla, Nikola Tesla number, something like 39. See what that looks like. That's a little bit better. You know, where it goes into the buy right here. Where is it at? Right there. Gives you the buy right there. Oop, what the? All right. Oh, I got to change that. I forget what that. Let me remember what that was. I did that yesterday too. Let's see if that does it. And so there it is. There it goes into the buy for this ride. And it's a nice, you know, it's a couple pips here and there. It's not that bad. It's pretty good. Now you can see the sloppiness. It went into the sell here, and then gave us that nice big win. I guess that's from the 83.80 down to the 72. And what is that? That's in 8:34 in 3 minutes. So a buy like in the next 10 minutes, or to buy the next day, or let's see. Oh, okay. 33 says, so thanks. You wouldn't take a buy. No, there's no reason for that. And I'm going to go back to that really quick. I don't want anybody to get confused on that. No, that's right here. Here's the copper. No, what it is that you can't take a buy. You can cover a short. And if you're going to take a buy, you have to do it in binary or options, so you have a limited risk. But the reason why you don't is right here, and that is the weekly sell. It's been in a weekly sell for 2 full weeks now, and it's going on a 3rd week in a weekly sell. So the buys, you don't want to really get long them unless you're doing it in a very controlled, very, very controlled way, like a binary or an option, you know, spread, you know, basically. And what an option spread, a call option spread or a put option spread is really a binary. You know, it's the same thing, really. And so that's what that's all about there. You wouldn't want to try to get long as much as it told you that it was going up. In the end result, it gave us a sell signal here, and that's where you join in on that close of this one, and because we're in a weekly sell. That's the reason. That's the logic behind using the weekly and the daily in a combined effort. Let's see. Did that answer the question there, 33? And then Alan says, Doc Quant show oversold intraday, for example, in... Okay, let's see, oversold intraday. Let's go back to that. And what time frame, Alan, are you looking at? Well, I can put it in for you. All right, where's it at? Where did I just stick it? I think I go this way, right? Yeah, right there. There you go. Okay. So, what time frame are you think? Do you watch it on an hourly, or half hourly, or X amount of ticks, or what is the time frame that you're using for the AUD JPY? And then we can take 1 hour. Okay, let's go take a look at 1 hour. Let's see, 1 hour there, and one. And let's put about 3 days in to start off with, or maybe 4. Let's do 4. Let's see what happens there. Okay, so there you go. So you can see here, and we can widen this out a little bit more, but it's really exploded down, hasn't it? And move this up like that. You can see here, let's see, what's all this? Remove that. Oh, that was yesterday when we were looking at stuff. So it goes into the cell there, jumps back in. We got to figure out. I forget what I did do to fix that yesterday. Let's see. Default maybe, and ticks. Let's try that. There we go. And then what happens is it goes into the cell. There's a buy there. Okay, so it goes into the cell there. See, yeah, that's what the problem is with hourlies. You go into a cell there. The neutral puts you into a buy, and then at the you don't get the sell really until there. So if you go into say, like I don't know, 20 minutes, you break it down into 20-minute increments. Let's try that. Yes, it's a lot better. I don't really care for. I just don't find the hourly sometimes that good. Whereas here you see, back I guess at London open time. You see it goes into the daily sell, and it's still in the daily sell. Well, let's fix that. We'll figure that out. How did I fix that yesterday? Settings. So you see that? It's been in the daily sell since the London open. But I really don't trust hourlies, because of that situation. That's a long way to wait. I mean, you miss most of the trade on the hourly. Whereas I guess like right here, you see it goes into the sell, and it's fine the rest of the way. But an hourly. Let me show you the hourly again. I'm just not that hipped up on hourly. Let's see, let's try this. What is this? This is Forex. So let's do this. Let's see, cash. Let's just go to default and make it the hourly again. But I'm not a big fan of Newtonian time, as I like to call it. Yeah, see, it puts you into the sell, and what does it do? It goes up for hours. It goes into the buy here, and that's okay. And then it goes back into the sell again, and then it's the winner, chicken dinner today. So the sell is still good right now. But look how deep down it is. But again, I'm very skeptical of Newtonian time. I like to use different increments, and the closest I'll get to Newtonian time is something like this. I mean, I'll go with like a 39-second. That's about as close as I'll get to Newtonian time. In desperation, I'll do a 3-minute chart, but again, it's not my desire to use that type of stuff. I use 15 minutes enter trades and 4 hours to view the trend. Yeah, I hear you there. That makes sense. That does make sense. Wish I could figure out what stops this thing from, let's see, tick count or tick trade. What was it? It's something. Oh, I know what it was. Local time. There we go. Watch this. See if this straightens out. There you go. I think local time does it. Straightens it out. Now this is. Let's try a 15-minute to take a look at that. I put the 15 minute right there. Yeah, so there's the 15-minute. It's been in the sell since pretty much, like I said, the London time, and has not come out of it. Let's see. Short time frames are so risky. Oh, I agree. I got very lucky yesterday, but also learned a great lesson. Yeah, you have to. The way you have to really look at, and let's go back to the daily on this product. The way you really want to deal with intraday is you've just got to do the work. You've got to practice it. You got to back test it every day. Before you're trading, and then once you're comfortable, then you go in and you trade, and you got to follow the rules always. You follow the rules you developed. So that's the answer to that. Let's see, where did we leave off? We looked at the Swiss this morning, right? Or I don't think we even looked at the Swiss. You can see the dollar is rising from all that tapering talk. You can see we're moving into a weekly buy signal too on the Swiss. So, but yeah, I agree with you, 33. You have to do a lot of work. Intraday trading takes work, but it can be. I find it to be very profitable, but it can be very dangerous too if you don't follow your rules. And that's half. It's just like I always say about professional athletes and their sports. If they don't just show up on Saturday or Wednesday to play, they show up every day and they practice. And so they're practicing. They may play twice a week, and they practice 6 days a week. That type of thing, or 5 days a week. So there may be a morning practice before they even have the game, or a light practice. That type of thing. So trading is the same way. You must practice. You must constantly practice. Work on the tools that you have and keep on working on them every day. You just keep on refining them and building discipline. It's like building a muscle memory. Short-term time frame, I got very lucky yesterday. That's good. All right, let's see. I'm going to go through the list. Anybody wants to see anything, just shout it out on the chat line, and we'll jump right back to it. Now you can see here on the cable, breaking down, playing with the weekly, the whole bit. We've been in a sell for days throughout all this. It's been up and down underneath the weekly number all week long also at the same time, but the pressure is on. The same thing is happening over in the euro like that. Now the euro, it closed in a weekly sell last week, so it's been in the sell since here. Since the 121.40 area or 121.70 area, and now we're trading in the 119.30s area. So that was a nice smackaroo. GBP JPY. Let's go there. GBP JPY. Let's see. There's Swiss. There it is right there. Now you can see here, it's going into the sell-off now. Whereas and you can see the weekly is flirting with the weekly sell right now as we put the line on it. You see it's minus plot 1. See where it says gas line 3.5 super? Then it says plot 1. It says that it's at minus 0.01. It's flirting with the weekly sell. It's underneath it. We are falling into the daily sell right here. So I guess there's going to be some pressure on it at this point. We'll see how this closes out. We'll check it out again tomorrow, see if it closes in the weekly sell. Could be interesting. Maybe the last time this thing has a tendency to trend too. Notice, look at there's not a lot of ups and downs in the sense of, it can go into a signal and last for 4 weeks since August of last year. Basically over the last year, you can see here, there's a buy right there. So we can move that buy back to there, like that. And that went on for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then it went into a sell, stayed in that sell for 5 weeks, and went back into a buy again. And it wasn't the best of sells. You can see here, it pushed itself into the sell there, and that was a nice winner chicken dinner. The buys were good warnings. They went up. This thing's a really good product. It's a real good product to look at. The GBP. I've noticed, we used to call those the secondary pair trades. But now, pretty much most of these pairs trades are all pretty liquid and active. Yeah, year overnight it dropped pretty hard. Yeah, yeah. Well, we can see that there, and at the same time, it's threatening to go into a weekly sell. And so, it's a good product when it gets, it trends well. Let's put it that way. It has good momentum when it does something. And there's probably a lot to be learned and a lot to be traded when you're trading these secondary, the old secondary pairs trades, which are now primary pairs trades. That's like the way to play it, you know. All right. Let's see. And again, anybody wants to see anything, just say it. I'm just going to go back to where we left off at Euro. You see that, in a weekly sell and still diving it. We've been in that daily sell a day before we went into the weekly sell, or a couple days before. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Now we go to Turkish lira. See what they're doing with that. Still driving towards our dots again. And it looks like we're going to close in the weekly buy. And this is going on the third day of a daily buy. Put that daily buy in there like that. There we are. And then let's go take a look at it through the euro. Right there. Where's it at? Right, no, right there. There it is. And you can see there, same situation. It looks like it easily is going to close in a weekly buy. Looks like it's going to take out any of these highs of recent. And it does look like they are the highs of recent. They're all-time highs right there, no more than 2 weeks ago. And if this thing stays like this, and tomorrow it stays like this, and then we close in a weekly buy, wow, any weakness probably should be bought, because this thing is probably going to take off on the upside. I keep on thinking this poor thing's going to find itself in the double-digit area on the dollar. It's already in a double-digit on the euro. So, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw this thing jump into the nines and threaten 10 or something like that. Now, from there we go over to Canadian. Canadian's doing the same thing. Notice after all, like a 5-6 week adventure, a lot of this stuff is breaking out of their boxes. I think you can see that on the cable too. Breaking out of its box right there. Let's make that box darker. There we go, like that. So you can see there, same situation, breaking out of the box. I guess what it is, they're being forced to participate. So Canadian now is doing the same thing, taking off. We've been in a daily buy since here, and we closed in the weekly buy last week, and it's signaling up and away. Let's see. 33 says, cheers, made GBP JPY nice one for the watch list. Yeah, it really is. It's a good product. It really is. Gets into a trend, you want to stay with it. Now, let's see, where do we go from there? Oh, let's just deviate just a little bit instead of jumping over and looking at energies and so forth and metals. Real quick, let's just look at ruble. You see here the ruble. I went and looked at the ruble after Mr. Putin got done, toying with our mouse called Mr. Biden. Biden is Mr. Mouse. Mr. Putin is the cat. And I played with him for a while, and I thought, maybe the ruble will be really taking off. I'm always bullish on the ruble, so I'm thinking oh yeah, it'll go down into the 60s, But no, it looks like there's a little bounce there. And then let's take a look at, what was I thinking? I know it is the South African rand, and it'll jump into the metals complex a little bit here. So dollar rand, where are we at? Dollar rand, right there. It's probably moving up also. Yeah, see that? See how it's moving up? It's been in a daily buy since there? Or is it there? No, it's right there. So it's been in the daily buy from there, and we are flirting with the weekly buy. So the rand is starting to feel the pressure. And then obviously when we go over to the metals complex, as we saw with copper. Now copper, obviously weekly sell for a few weeks, but check out, gold. Gold is busted 1800. I heard people yesterday when it was down to 36, they said, oh, we're going to buy it at 35, 34, 1835 and 34. Well, they could have bought it $50 cheaper if they followed Doc's math. I saw it going into a daily sell, and they're talking about buying it. And at the time, I'm looking at the weekly, flirting with the weekly sell, and I'm thinking to myself, ooh, they're going to be a little sadder waking up this morning. Sure enough, they are. It's down another 50 some odd dollars, $60 from there. 14 and no 50. See, 14 and 36 is 50, so it's down $50 from that target zone that I heard on the financial channel. And then you can see here silver, another thing breaking out of its 4 or 5 week box, rectangle. Silver doing it now, and you can see there. And this thing hasn't been in a weekly buy for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks anyway, and it's on its 5th week. So silver's been, feeling the pain on the downside there. And every time we see this lift up, like here, it went into the daily buy, it gives you a little bit, it does. But the thing is that we're in a weekly sell. I have a hard time, getting long anything in fighting. If they're not both working together, I don't really want to be involved in it. It's like, I don't know, I think I'll stand and watch. That's usually the way it goes. Now here's the 30-year. 30-year is lifting up today. Let's look at that a little bit. Again, that has people all perplexed. It's like, yeah, it's the central bank. They plow, $120 billion into the marketplace. Yesterday, one of the big complaints was that the Federal Reserve is squeezing the mortgage market. What they're doing is they're offering mortgages or enhancing mortgages. They're buying the mortgage securities in the secondary market, and the investors are losing the opportunity to buy them, and that's really messing with a lot of people. It just shows you their desperation. When and since nobody can get these money managers to rationalize what they're following or seeing, what it really comes down to, if the Federal Reserve is reaching out and buying things that they don't need to buy, in other words, there's an actual public demand, and they're out buying those things, then that tells you that they're really desperate. In other words, they're desperate to put their money into something that they can hold firm. They want the real estate market to, I guess what it is, they have this attitude that they can save the world. And so they're buying mortgage bonds in the secondary market, and the private investors can't get their hands on them because the Fed's sucking them up like a vacuum cleaner. And so now they're trying to force the public to invest in weaker products, which to me seems pretty disingenuous. I mean, it sounds like a lawsuit, like, quasi-government organization squeezes out private money so it can invest instead of allowing the private money to invest. That doesn't sound right at all. That's really crazy stuff, We're really in weird times, truly weird times. 13 years of quantitative easing. There's some really weird stuff that goes on. All right, what else? And here's the 10-year. I'll show you the 10-year. There's the 10-year. Now the 10-year, not reacting as much as the 30-year. Let's just give it a clean up there. There you go. You can see right there. It's just a little bit up, and it's still in the sell, but it's trying to get into the weekly sell. Whereas in the 30-year, same situation, and it's a much bigger move up today. Let me just refresh that. Yeah, much bigger move up. It's actually trying to threaten the zero line even. All right, let's see, where do we go from here? Crude oil. Crude went into the sell, yes. No, now look at that. We didn't have that green dot. So, matter of fact, let's do this too. Let's look at that. Yeah, so it was minus 0.01, and plot 4 was the same way. So It's trying to bounce today. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of water. It's trying to bounce today. There's a lot of people, or not a lot, but there's some money managers out there really pushing on the idea that we're going to see $100 oil. Is the Federal Reserve going to start gobbling up oil? Who knows? Anything's possible in these times. We are in the strangest of times, traders, and that's why we really depend on our quantitative analyzation more than anything else, because fundamentals, I hear it every morning, people are just scratching their head on the fundamentals. They just don't even know how to interpret what they're seeing. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, inflation's coming out, Fed just doubled its anticipation of it, and nobody's selling bonds. I mean, they don't even know how to do that. I mean, the investors, just kind of money managers, refuse to say anything out loud to anybody. Definitely strange. We are in strange times. All right. I know I said that a few minutes ago. I had my sip of water and I had a couple peanuts. All right. Now, meow. Let's see. Where's the mouse? There it is. Let's take a look at. We've seen gold and silver. We've seen oil, natural gas. It's in the sell here, but we're in a weekly buy, so it makes it very tough. And let's give it a refresh. So it's in a daily sell for. This is the third day now, and you're getting a volatility signal. And at the same time, we're still in the weekly buy right there. Look at that. You can see it. The weight histogram's up. Smooth it over a little bit more like that. You can see there, the green line has pierced the time manifold, but we've seen that do it. And then look at that last move. Went from the low 3s to the 30s in a matter of 5 days. Hyperinflation coming soon. If they weren't so stingent, in other words, the hyperinflation comes when you have too much money being lent to bad ideas, bad financial ideas. In this case, the Federal Reserve is force feeding them, the banks and the institutions and the hedge funds. Everybody's getting some free money from the Federal Reserve, and it's not going out onto the street. And when it doesn't go into the public area, the chances of hyperinflation are kind of slim. Because it would if they were giving it to people who would start to go out of business, that's when money starts chasing a lot of things, and that's when things get expensive. So I don't think it's going to be hyperinflation, but I think it's going to be just pressure, constant upward pressure. Stagflation? Yeah, I want to say we're in stagflation now. Because of the low interest rates and the lack of lending. Banks have never had more reserves, and their ratio to lending has never been lower. So in other words, normally when you get the hyperinflation or the stagflation, stagflation, you would get that, where you have enormous amounts of reserves in the private banks, and they're not lending it. And so what you see is, that's where you get the stagflation. In this case here, they're buying assets with it instead of lending money out for assets to be bought. And the assets are in the form of companies and junk bonds and, paper assets. So, controlling assets. So it's not like you lent, money to 20 different individuals and 15 of them go out of business. And that really hurts things, Yeah, I would think so. Look at the. Let's jump over today. Take a look at some of the commodities at the moment. Let's see where we're at. So let's close this, and then let's open this. Let's look at the meats and the grains and so forth. There's pressure all over the place in different directions. Bean oil is starting to really, July bean oil, the front old crop month, I guess you could call it, was pushing into a sell. Now this is October hogs, and you can see, the strength in these things. It's going to start trading live in another 20 minutes. And then when you look at say December corn, you see December corn went into a weekly sell and is trying to get back into the weekly buy. We have drought situations in some of the growing areas. We've been in a daily buy for, look at this, 4 days going on the 5th, and all it's done is go down. It's dropped from 605 or something like what is that, 616, 615 area down to the 561 area. It's dropped 50 cents, but we're in a weekly sell, so it's okay. But the thing is, it's amazing, these green dots. Now that's December. Here's July, the old crop corn, doing basically the same thing, but less in the green dot situation. And it couldn't get into the buy there. Now it's jumped into the buy yesterday, and it's lifting up today. And matter of fact, I can get rid of that because this is now lifting up here. I put that in there earlier today, and you can see here it's playing with the weekly again. So the correction that's been going on for now, it went into the weekly sell like right here, and it was sideways up, and then we went into a daily sell. It went down for a couple of days and lifted back up. And these things are not really trading in lately. This is really choppy action. But yeah, the farm stuff, and then soybeans. You can see here's July old crop beans. We've been in the sell there since here, and it went up for a couple of days, somewhere in here, and it went into a daily sell right here. And by each end of each day, it found a way to be closer to it, but it was still above it. And then it started to really break down and join in with the weekly sell. We kept on telling you, don't trust. First of all, we're getting lots of red dots, and and we're below everything here. But secondarily, we went into a weekly sell in here, and it's not, it's not a positive. You don't want to, no matter what weakness you see, unless you're a producer or some type of supplier, you don't want to reach for it. You want to let it just do its thing, or steer clear of it. Unless you're a producer or a supplier and you need inventory. Let's see, and in the meal, you can see the same situation. Meal's been in the sell since back here on soybean meal from the crush spread, and nice distances between sells and buys and so forth. And you can see, I'm not even sure why I did that. I guess that should be a green, that's not red. Excuse me. Like that. There you go. So that's flirting with the daily buy today. You can see that right there. But look at the weekly. This is just going to be one of those dead cat bounces, really. Maybe they get back up to these highs here, but I don't really see a lot more than that. But yeah, farmland and production is really the place to be. I mean, look at the prices. And when you look at corn, let's go back to the corn. Like the old crop is trading in the 670 area. It was over $7 no more than like a month ago. And then you look at the December contract. There's the December contract. That's trading it's $1 lower. In the 570s versus 670s. So yeah, I mean, it's even then, 570 a bushel. That's pretty good. And then you got to figure that's December. And if there's droughts and there's problems, then obviously that thing's going to find itself sitting at the $6 area or $6.70 area. Alrighty, let's see what else we got going on here. Anybody want to see? Anybody want to see anything? Just shout it out. But I want to go take a look at that Mexican peso. Somehow or another, we've been so busy we haven't looked at the peso in the last couple of days. Let's see. Right there. Wow, look at that. King Dollar is running against everything hard, isn't it? Wow. And you can see it's trying to climb through the weekly easily. We've been in the daily buy since right there. Let's put that in. And now, the weekly's going to obviously join into that party. there. Welcome to my party. Party hardy. Look how tight that is too. Zzz. It's really tight. It gets real tight. You get some interesting action out of it. That's what's great about the time manifold. Yeah, in this case here, it got tight, and the histogram was minus, and you got great action on the downside. This one was interesting, same thing. It got tight, and we got great action on the downside compared to the sideways action here. Let's see. So that's the Mexican peso. All right, let's see. Left off with the question of farm best investment. I agree. All right, now let's see where we go. Oh, you know what? Let's look at the Zolti. Right there. It's what a nice product that is. Oh my God, look how tight that is. What a steady economy. It's been in the weekly sell for what, weeks upon weeks since back here. And it's gone down, you know, it has, but not a lot. This product is very, very good. And where's it? Where's that on the spread check sheet? It's on 16 right here. I'll light it up. Right there. And so it's 10 weeks in a sell and 8 days in a buy. It's keeping you in a neutral position, so you're not losing any money, that's for sure. Let's see, where are we at? So that's the action we're seeing across the currency markets, you know. Dollar is king again. And let's just check that out on the ETF. Dollar is king. Right there. Look at that spike this morning. Actually, it's coming from this area here. I doubt it opened down there. This is the pre-market until 9:30 Eastern Standard, or another 13 minutes. You know, that's how that usually plays out. What can we say about today? I'm trying to think what our title will be. Solely because we've been talking about so many different things. Mike Tyson is a very rich farmer. Does he have a farm now? I like Tyson. My nickname for him is the Pit Bull. He was one of the greatest fighters I've ever, you know, heavyweight fighters. For his size, he's one of the greatest. He really, he reminded me of my grandfather. My grandfather was a heavyweight. He fought Max Snelling and Jersey Joe Wilcox, and fought all those guys. He's got a license, so I can see his records each round and what he won and what he didn't win. And Tyson is tenacious. He was great. In his prime, he was one of the most tenacious fighters I've ever seen. He was something. Deadly Dollar Webinar. I like that. I guess I'd call it the King Dollar. Who knew? King Dollar. And Doc tries not to focus in on the dollar. I like to say that I'm Eurocentric, in the sense that I like to follow the markets from a world perspective, not from the American perspective. Grows dope. Is that what he's doing? Is that what he does? He has a marijuana farm? Oh, good for him. He deserves it. He was a really good guy as far as I'm concerned. I think he got screwed by a lot of people. They took advantage of him. That's the way I see it. That's exactly how I see it. And I always feel bad for them, too, at the same time. All those cases of, rape by the major actresses, they were just screwing him over. There's no doubt about it. Michael Tyson, is a lot more grounded than that. Definitely. So, Yeah, I'm happy that he's got a little farm and he's able to grow some weed and keep himself happy. I think that's a good thing. Very good thing. He deserves it. He was a good guy as far as I'm concerned. You knew his desperation when he's biting people's ears, you know. That's definitely desperation, nothing more than that. It means that he was truly being treated very poorly somewhere along the line, you know, by his managers. And that, hey, he had that strange guy with the wild hair, you know. And that promoter definitely screwed him up. There's no doubt about that. So, nice to know. Thank you. All right, let's see, where are we at here? For real. Yeah, yeah. The pit bull, that's what I call him. The pit bull. Very powerful. Small, but powerful. Got inside he would get inside. They're armed. So he'd come in so fast that he'd be inside them and they couldn't really get a full swing at him and they had to go clinch him. And that's when when they figured out finally that was the answer after about 20 fights, that's when he started biting people's ears. Rodney King, that's it. I think he screwed him over. I think he really hurt him. Angelo Dundee, which was Muhammad Ali's manager or trainer, and he died, and he's the one that discovered Mike Tyson. And he was really old, but he could see that this kid was something. And then he died, and then Don. It wasn't. I don't think it was Rodney King. It was Donald King. I think it was Don King. I think that's what it was. Rodney King, I think, was that L.A. Person that got beat up by the cops. He was on some type of heavy drugs or something like that. Yeah, Don King. I think that's what it was. I couldn't remember the name. I was trying to remember it yesterday. Yep, there it is. It's Don King. Yeah. That's exactly it. There he is. And he had that wild hair, Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it up on there. There you go. Yeah, Don King. He's the one that messed with. There's a picture of him. There he is, right there. There's Don King, American promoter. Donald King is an American former boxing promoter known for his involvement in historic boxing matchups. He's been a controversial figure, partly due to a manslaughter conviction in civil cases against him. Yeah, so looks like is he born? He's still alive. It sounds like. No, yeah. So it sounds like he's still alive. Even he's living in Ohio. Yeah, Rodney King was he was he was on drugs or something, and the police tried to arrest him, and I guess he was on those drugs that make you think you're a Superman, and he just kept on coming at them, and then it started the riots or something like that. So Mike also lives in Australia, trains with Jeff Finch. Really? Good for him. It's always nice to hear that he's doing well. I know they've been running it on HBO, one of the cable channels, in demand. They've been running something called something Tyson, Mike Tyson, or they ran a series on him. I didn't really watch it, but I wish I had. Maybe if I get time. I kind of lived through it, and I guess because I lived through it, I don't really need to, watch that type of stuff. I was very close watching his actions and, how well he was doing and his failures and, all that stuff, So, let's see. In the free trial sign up, you need to list 5 products. Does it mean exact instruments? Yeah, Robin gets antsy, but no, I mean, we had somebody, let me show you one we're sending out. I kind of like it. It's kind of like a smorgasbord. Check this out. Look on the screen. I'm going to show you. Let's see, how do I do this? Send. Let me go to the send. And somebody actually asked for 5 products, but didn't ask for them specifically which ones. And let me see if I can. How do I do this? Let's see. And I got to hide their email. I don't want to show the email. But this is what Robin said. Robin said to me, "What do we do?" And I said, "They here." And I'm going to bring this up on the screen now. Here it is. So it was bonds and currencies, grains, energies, and metals. So what I do is I send the 30-year, I send the euro, I send soybeans, I send crude oil, and I send gold. I thought that was pretty easy, you know. I mean, they didn't know what to look at, and so they put that up there. They had no choice. And oh my God, poor Robin. He was like, I don't know what to do with that. I said, well, just send it over to me, and I'll send them. And so every day for the free trial for 2 weeks, I send them the bonds, the currencies, the grains, the energies, and metals. I think that made sense to me. Simple. Remember, traders, your objective in trading is to make it simple. We always say the KISS theory, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And Doc here, is stupid. And so your objective, like, how I show you like our intraday trading? Let's go over to the intraday trading real quick as a good example. Where the hell is it at? It's right there. Okay. And let's get rid of that one real quick, and we'll go like this. Here's the intraday trading. Okay, this is the S&P on a 693. And as you can see, let's just widen it out. And as you can see, it goes into a cell right there. It's got the red dot, and it closes below in the cell. About a hair of its chinny chin chin, but it does that. And so, boom, sell. That's it. In this case here, it's the 0. But with the red dot, you can take the short. And it's like, and then when it went here into the buy, green dot, plus, get long. That's it. I mean, the objective out of this whole thing is to make it simple. In other words, trading is complicated enough as it is. So you want to work on your tools, and you want them to be the best they can be. So you're going to practice them, but make your trading strategy simple. Look at J4X, okay? See, here's the J4X, and here's the daily with the Swiss. It goes through the white dotted line. We got a green hinky ashy. Get long. That's it. In other words, simple concepts. Nothing more than that. And you work every day, practice over and over, and then you trade. And then maybe this evening you'll practice again for like an hour, looking at the tools and making sure they're working right. Maybe you can combine something else with it. Maybe not. But if you got to do that training every day, even if it's only like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you just got to do the training without using money so that you don't get tangled. So let me see if I answered everybody. Mike Tyson, Kimbo says in free trial. So I think I answered that on the Chicago Quant Technology site. Right, exactly. I hope that answered your question. Just tell them that you would just want to do that combination. Say Doc said to do that combination. He'll send it over and we'll make sure you get it. Will the intraday be a logging for quant? Let's see. Try that again, Alan. Will the intraday be a log in? Is it like logging in? Yeah. We were talking with somebody yesterday, Robin and I. Between Robin and I, we have over 95 years of trading experience. Robin's like 45, 46, and I'm like 42, 43 or something like that. And when you have such amount of experience, it's very easy to talk about the markets. And so it makes it sound like, oh, login. Oh, intraday? Yeah, well, I'm going to have to set up an IP address for you. And it takes about 4 or 5 days to get it all set up right. And then go from there. Have you talked to Robin about that? I know he's out at the moment. Yeah, just give him a yell and talk to him about it. We'll help you out. We'll get you there. So, it's not hard to be nice. It's a lot easier to be nice, honestly. I don't find, so log in. So no? Oh, you haven't talked to him. Okay. Well, when you do, you do. That's all. It's no rush. sit here and drinking what we're talking about here on Dukascopy, and then you can go from there. So we try to be smart. There's the bell. All right, I'm out of here, traders. Catch you all tomorrow is TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday tomorrow. And for some of you, it's only hours away, if not already. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Friday. Happy trails to you, to all our cyber trading friends. Arrivederci, traders. Arrivederci.